I got Google to understand and index my expertise online in just 3 days. And it was actually really easy to do. And this is how I did it. I'm a strategist who helps mid-career professionals close the gap between their lived expertise and depth of knowledge and their authority online in their industry. This matters more and more as we head into this AI era and as consumer search behavior continues to evolve. Okay, so I got Google to index me and my work with Show Your Proof and the proof gap, this gap that I'm talking about, in 3 days. Here's a secret. This is a fairly new YouTube channel. I decided to walk the walk. One of the things that I teach the people I work with is to take the conversations that you're having, put it online, put it on YouTube, ideally in video format, but audio is an option too. Get transcripts up, get chapters up, really great descriptions of the things you're talking about up. This doesn't have to take a lot of time. And then take the audio content and throw it up as a podcast. So that's what I did. I took the 5 videos that I had already recorded and had the audio distributed through all of the channels you're probably familiar with, like Apple Podcasts and Spotify and Amazon and iHeartRadio and the rest. And I just put it out there. I put descriptions and put titles for each recording, and I didn't tell a soul. I just put it up, and 3 days later, when I searched for myself and when I searched for the proof gap, these are the results that started coming up. And it was actually Apple Podcasts, and then in subsequent searches, other podcasts that started indexing my name and the type of thing that I'm talking about. These were not polished, not overly strategized, but when I get that content up there, it helps the internet understand and the large language models understand the type of thing that I'm talking about, the way that I'm thinking. It captures my name, which you may or may not know. I have one of the most common names you can have in the English-speaking language, Ashley Smith. So I've always had a bit of a struggle getting what I wanted indexed online, especially through Google, in a meaningful way. Even in the industry that I come from, which is real estate, there were other Ashley Smiths working in my market area with the same title as me. So I always had to figure out, like, how do I make sure that I direct people to me so they know it's me? But with a few intentional steps, and they do not have to be hard and they don't have to be overcomplicated, you can start getting yourself indexed on Google in the way that you want. So if I were still selling real estate, I would be thinking about my specific geographic market area, the types of clients that I like to help, the types of properties that I like to sell, what price category and what types of things I really like to do, whether that has to do with strategy around staging or marketing or pricing or negotiation. And I'd start thinking about these things and I would start talking about them. And if I felt comfortable enough, I would start talking about them into a camera like I'm doing right now. Very simple. All you really might need is like headphones, don't need a microphone, and just record and talk about the thing of the week that really caught my eye or the case study that I thought was really interesting. And if I'd rather, maybe I would get someone from my office and have a conversation every week about what we saw in the market. I could find someone from across the country to compare because I'm from Vancouver, British Columbia. I could talk to someone from Toronto and we could talk about the differences in our markets and start getting our expertise indexed online. It does not have to be fancy. You do not have to show your friends. You do not have to post it on your Instagram. Although in time, I bet that folks are going to get more comfortable taking some of their best clips and posting it on their social media channels if they wanted to. But I did not need an audience to get indexed in Google in a way that truly represented the work that I'm doing today. 3 days. I was honestly blown away by that result. I'm very excited that this is the type of thing that I'm showing people and I know it can work. So why does this matter? In this era of search and as AI continues to change how we as consumers behave online and search for solutions and search for services, we are doing more and more research on our own and getting more and more comfortable with how to get the answers. We're having full conversations with our AI of choice. And so we're no longer just searching like a 3-word search. We're no longer saying best realtor in Vancouver. We're now starting to say, I have a condo in this neighborhood that I think is worth around $950,000. It's really important to me that I get at least X amount of dollars, but I also really want 4 months before closing. I need to find an expert that can help me reach my goals and that I know is experienced in negotiating on my behalf, who can get creative in helping me figure out how to make this happen. Like, who should I hire? These are the kinds of questions that people are going to start asking. So when a potential customer puts in a search like that, AI or Google is going to give it a response based on real conversation, based on what seems like human expertise, real lived expertise, human voice, and not generic advice. And so if you have a website, which many realtors do, and I love you all because you're all my friends and I've been there, when you have a single website that says you work in all of these market areas and you service all these kinds of clients, realtors are notorious for saying they help everyone rather than narrow, specific, niche type customer. Where I live, there's about 15,000 realtors, many of whom have a similar type of website, probably from a similar website provider. And so if they're not off creating content on their social media channels, for example, talking about what they do and the types of clients they have and the types of properties that they show, if you're a mid-career professional who's like award-winning and really at the top of their game but has no presence online, you're going to be totally overlooked. It's because you're invisible. It's like you don't exist. So things like this, like getting real conversations captured, putting them online, putting them in ways that search and AI can understand, even if you have no audience and never have an audience, it is going to help you, especially as more consistent information comes out and you make it easier and easier for the internet to understand your expertise and your knowledge, and this will compound. So this is not a scary time. This is actually a huge opportunity for folks who've totally neglected the internet. This is a time where you can take things you already know, capture it, and get the internet working for you in a time when the internet actually means more than it ever has. This is a real mindset shift around what the internet can do and how you can use it. It's a real shift from creating content for audiences, which is still great. And there's a huge upside to doing that. But if you don't want to do it, you don't need to do it. You just need clear, consistent language, clear, consistent ideas, and build layers on who you are as a professional. Simple little things, maybe once a week, is enough for the system to start building an understanding of you and to be able to start recommending you. So this is what I mean about building proof and closing the proof gap. It does not have to be perfect. The polish doesn't really matter if no one's seeing it. You can get better, more comfortable with time if that's something you want to do and you want to start sharing it. But these little steps are things we can all do to stand out and not only survive the AI era, but thrive in it. And for those of you who've been working for 10, 15 plus years and you have another 10 or 15 you want to give, I'm especially talking to you because this matters for you the most. You have paid your dues. You deserve to thrive and not just survive this AI era. All right, professionals, now go out there and show your proof.